Good morning, Kate here, bringing you this week's Monday Mission. We are on number 64, and I'm going to share with you a tool to use when you are feeling triggered or activated at someone else or in a situation in your life. So I can share this because I use it in my own life, and I'm actually going to give you 3 examples how it showed up for me. So give you some real life examples of how this tool can be effective. And I just want to point out too, though, that this is a tool to use when you're feeling triggered or activated, which is something that requires awareness, right? So when I talk about managing our mind, that is the first step and often the hardest step is that awareness to just even understand when things are coming up for you, recognizing when you are triggered by something or activated by something, and then figuring out what those thoughts and feelings are and what's coming up for you. That's like sometimes the hardest step is to have that awareness. But when you have that awareness, when you're working on managing your mind and you're aware like, oh, I'm really like triggered by this situation, or wow, this is really activating something in me. Like I'm really feeling like I want to react, or I did react to this situation, right? I did have a reaction that maybe I didn't want to have. We can use this tool. It's not going to help in all situations, but it can be very effective in certain situations. So the way that it came up for me was a situation. I was with Pete. We were at an art show for his daughter, and he was going to have to see his ex-wife and her family. And for those of you, whether you're in that situation or have experienced that situation, these just can be kind of tricky situations, tricky times. And he was really snippy with me during this art show, like just really short with me and just really on edge. And I became very triggered by it, right? Like my initial reaction was to be like really triggered. Like, excuse me, I'm here for you and I don't want to be talked to this way or I don't want to be snapped at, right? And then I was like, okay, so I had the awareness that that was happening. And then I used this tool and I asked myself, what is my role in this situation? Okay. Is it to make it about me and to be really upset with him and get into it with him as to why he's being short with me and why he's not in the best of moods and put all that? No, that is not my role in this situation. My role for him was to be calm, let him take the lead as to how we were handling the situation and what was going on, and let him be snippy with me if he needed to be snippy with me in that moment, right? Now, I'm not saying you let people treat you a certain way and say things to you that really hurt your feelings or are inappropriate or right. It's not what I'm saying here. But me adding to his stress by confronting him as to why he's being so short with me and snippy with me was not going to be helpful in this situation, right? That was not my role. My role was to support him and to be there to help calm the situation if I needed to and to just let him be snippy. That's what was coming up for him. And I needed to just allow that. It had nothing to do with me in that moment, right? That was what my role was, okay? This comes up with things at work, right? So um, I often have, not often, but I do at times have meetings with parents who are not happy, right? They're either upset with the evaluation that maybe I had done or the services that are being provided at the school, or something is going on for them, and the parents are really upset in these meetings. And it can be very difficult to not be triggered by this, right? Because sometimes the comments are very snarky and are very derogatory, and it's very easy to get triggered and activated in these meetings. So I always have to remind myself, what is my role in a parent meeting? Okay, again, it's not about me and what they're saying to me. My role is to advocate for that student and to help the parents understand and be on the same page as much as possible with the school so that we both have the common goal of working to put in place what's best for their child, right? For our student. And so when I come at it from that situation of thinking of it as like, what's my role here? It is much easier for me to not be triggered, to respond instead of react, right? To not take it personally. And I'm able to really be in that role for that meeting and not be getting triggered by the parent. The parents can be upset. That's fine. It has nothing to do with me, right? They are upset because of their thoughts, right? If I can help clarify their thoughts for them, so the thoughts that they have about the school, aren't negative and aren't creating negative emotions for them, then that's what my role is to support in that way the best that I can, right? So that's how it might come up for me at work. If it comes up, it might come up with your kids. And this is actually something, if you follow Dr. Becky from Good Inside on Instagram, she talks about this a lot, asking yourself, what is your role as the parent? What's your role in this moment, right? So let's say that your kid had a fight with their friend, right? And they're really upset about it. And you're triggered because you don't want your kids to be upset. You hate feeling sadness with them. You hate seeing them feel that way and be upset, and you want to fix it. You want to solve all of the problems, right? So we might sometimes think that our job is to make them feel better as quickly as possible, get rid of all negative emotion, right? But we're doing that for us, right? It's more comfortable for us to not have to witness our kids be upset. And that's why we're trying to make it go away, right? We are triggered by watching them be upset. And so we want to do whatever we can to stop it as quickly as possible, right? But that is not in service of them. Okay, your role in that moment is to validate them and let them feel seen and heard and understood, right? It's not to make the pain go away, right? It's not to give 10 different solutions as to what they should do in the moment, right? Your role is to listen and validate and have them feel seen and heard and loved and supported, right? That is your role in the moment. So that I think is another great way to use that question, use that tool. What is my role? Whenever you're feeling triggered, something is coming up for you, you want to react instead of respond, right? You want to have that reaction. You are feeling defensive, right? That's another sign that you're being triggered, is when you're feeling defensive, you want to snap back or you want to shut down, right? That's usually my threat response, is I just don't want to deal with it. I just will shut down. So if you notice yourself doing that, you are triggered for whatever reason, something is coming up for you. And you want to have that awareness and you want to process what is triggering you, what came up for you, right? But you also want to ask yourself in that moment, what is my role? Right? So that's our tool this week, is to ask yourself, what is my role in this situation? And see what your brain offers you. Okay. And it might give you a really different perspective so that you can actually be who you want to be in that moment. You can respond instead of react, right? You can be less triggered and let that go. So that is your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to ask yourself when you're feeling triggered, ask yourself, what is my role in this situation? And really, really define that out. What do I want to be doing in this moment? Am I making this about me? Right? Is this my reaction to being triggered, or what is my role in this certain situation? So let me know what comes up for you. Try this out, try this tool out, and see how it works for you. I didn't have a journal prompt this week. As always, you can just kind of journal anything that comes up from you about this tool. Maybe put it into place this week and then jot down what happens, how you feel after using this tool, and see how it works for you. Okay, so share with me, and I hope you're having a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.